What's up guys, it's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. So today is time for the new Untold Tales. It's just popped in and we've got a bunch of new levels in the Atlantis portal, or next to the Atlantis portal, whatever you want to call it. But the Mysteries of the Deep, it looks like they've got some space for a few more blocks on this thing, so we might see some other ones in the future, who knows. But yeah, for now we've got this Mysteries of the Deep. We've got normal stages, we've got hard stages which get unlocked after the normal stages, and then we've got this deadly challenge which I hate to think how hard that's going to be, but that's coming soon. And along with the Untold Tales, we have a brand new portal, some brand new coins to collect. Unfortunately, you didn't get any free. I would have loved to have got some free coins in the inbox, but we've got some brand new heroes in here as well. So we're going to go ahead and have a look at these guys today. We've got quite a few to get through. So we've got 5 new 5-star heroes, 2 brand new 4-stars, and a 3-star as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with the featured heroes. First guy I want to look at is Lasalle. I think that's how you say it. So Lasalle is a fire hero of the fighter class. Interestingly enough, we've got another fire hero of the fighter class as the hero of the month. And then we've got a new family. So the Defenders of Atlantis family. You've got the Defenders of Atlantis and you've got the Nightmare family, I think it is. So for this guy, he's with the Defenders of Atlantis. And they get a family bonus for 1 or 2 heroes. So it's a 50 or 75% chance to give all allies plus 36% attack for 3 turns after this character receives special skill damage. Now I do like that as opposed to when he casts his special skill, because it's likely they'll receive special skill damage quite a bit more often during the match, unless you're just an absolute G and you never take damage, which means you're not playing the same game as I am. If the enemy's special skill defeats this character, the chance is 75 or 100%. Again, we don't really want that to trigger, because then it means you don't have him anymore. So what's the point? They have the related family bonus. So the hero is related to the Atlantis family. And the hero receives the family bonus of a related family when in a team with at least 1 related hero. So basically, that's a lot of words just saying that if he's in a team with another Atlantis hero, he's going to get plus 5, plus 10, plus 15, plus 20, or plus 25% defense, depending on how many Atlantis family heroes are on that team with him. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now moving on to the passive. So the passive is going to be a 50% chance to perform the following action when he casts his special skill. Deals 80% damage to all enemies. I like that a lot. And all allies get plus 21% critical chance for 2 turns. So let's just see here. Yeah, that's plus 36 attack from the family bonus, and then a chance for plus how much is it? Plus 21% critical chance for 2 turns. So you've got a pretty high chance. 50% on both of those. You're going to increase critical chance. So critical chance is where the tiles do double damage, and also that you're going to increase the attack by 36%. So that right off the bat alongside his class bonus is great. What I don't like about this card so far is the art. I think I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong. I mean, the seahorse looks cool. It's the little guy on the back of the seahorse that I can't get my head around. And I think he's supposed to be the main hero, or the main antagonist, or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, that just looks a bit lazy and a bit horrible. Just change him. Change him. He doesn't even have proper earlobes. His ears going into the fins just look tacky. Anyway, that's my opinion. Keep it to myself. So let's look at his stats. So we're looking at... Oh, that's insane, honestly. 959 attack is absolutely humongous. That is probably, if I go out on a limb, I think that's probably one of the highest attack stats of any hero in the game at the moment. 815 on the defense is very respectable, but next to that 959 attack, it looks measly. And 1495 on the health, again, very respectable. So the defense and the health is fine. But the attack stat is monstrous. Normally with an attack stat like that, you see a lower health. Lower health or defense stat. So let's figure out what this guy does. So with Lasalle, and with all of these heroes, we've got this mana speed called the Changing Tides. Okay, so the mana speed for Changing Tides alternates between fast and average every time the hero casts the special skill. Now, I did actually manage to grab, what's this guy's name somewhere in here? Just did a couple of pulls and grabbed, Jesus, there's so many heroes in here. This little guy, Mulgog. So I've actually tried out this Changing Tides mana speed, and the way it works is that the first charge is at fast speed, the second charge is at average, and then it goes back to the first charge at fast, and then second at average, and so forth. That was just something that I didn't realize. I was like, I have to get my hands on one of these heroes just to be able to test it. Otherwise, I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. So his special is called Flanking Maneuver. It's at the speed of Changing Tides, and the special skill needs consecutive uses to reach full power in the following order. That really doesn't do it justice. So it reaches full power for each charge. It's just like Thor's special, though. The first time he fires off, it does a certain thing. The second time if he fires off, it does a different thing. And the third time he fires off, and every time thereafter, it sticks to that high amount. With this one, it bounces back and forth between the first and the second. I hope that makes some kind of sense. Sorry, guys, if I'm going too far. So, at the first charge, which is going to be running at fast speed, Lasalle will deal 400% damage to the target. That's a pretty decent hit at fast speed. It's on line with quite a lot of the other snipers in the game. But with that high attack stat, if you were to add limit breaks, he's nearly 1300 attack. So 400% damage is just going to feel like you just got run over by a semi for real. That's massive. And he summons a Sea Cavalry Fiend for the target. So this Fiend he summons damages a single enemy with 22% attack every turn. And the Sea Cavalry Fiend absorbs healing and disappears when it's absorbed a health amount equal to 12% of its owner's max health. So it's a very small fiend with very low attack, but watch what happens next. So the Sea Cavalry Fiend generates a clone of itself to nearby enemies after every turn. So you summon a single fiend. After that turn, that fiend replicates itself twice to the allies or to the enemies on either side of the one that you targeted. Then the next turn, the fiends replicate themselves again, and it's like a never-ending sea of fiends. Now, thankfully, they've done this the right way, because you can only have 3 fiends on an enemy at any one time, and if the health is equal to 12% of its owner's max health, that's 36%. So 3 times 12 is 36. So that means that a heal of 36%, you're going to be able to do away with those nasty, horrible replicating fiends. Anything less than that, though, if you heal for 30%, for example, and you leave 1 fiend on the battlefield, remember, that little sucker's going to spawn 2 of himself the next turn, or maybe 1 if it's on the wing. So this is an interesting mechanic. It's going to play absolute havoc with you if you're facing him, and you better bring some hefty healers, because this guy's going to cause some trouble, especially with those stats, man. So 400% damage is on charge 1 going at fast speed. Now, if you fire that off, which you will have to fire that off to get to charge 2, charge 2 will take a full 3 matches to charge. So this is going to be not at average speed necessarily. If you're going into a battle, it's going to be 3 tile matches, then another 3 tile matches. So literally, like, what's that? Sorry, my maths. 6 tile matches to be able to fire it off. And realistically, when I'm looking at these cards and when I'm looking at taking heroes into battle, you only really want to work with heroes. If they can't charge in 3-tile matches, it's not really worth bringing them in unless you've got a plan to make slow heroes faster and charge them up with mana control heroes like Grimble. Anyway, my point is this second charge is really going to only be a charge that you're using in like events, challenges, stage level play, maybe not even so much in events, but let's look at charge 2. So at charge 2, he deals 450% damage to the target, and he summons the Sea Cavalry Fiend for the target. The Fiend damages the enemy with 22% attack every turn, and the Sea Cavalry Fiend absorbs up to 12% of its owner's max health, and it generates a clone of itself and nearby enemies after every turn. So the special on charge 2, even though it's running at average speed, is the only difference is that you've got an increase of 50% damage to the target. So really, it doesn't really matter, is what I'm saying. All of that I just went through doesn't really matter. But it does kind of, because if you fire him off, you're going to need to remember that you're going to take 3-tile matches to get to that next charge as well. Do I think this is a good hero? Absolutely. This is an absolutely excellent hero. His stats are incredible, just bonkers. I mean, even with the first limit break, he's going to be amazing. He's got that revive chance. He's got the counter attack on the ether talents. So yeah, it's a great hero. Pity about the art, but really good hero. Now let's move on to hero number 2. So we're going to go with Turtle Guy, Ninja Turtle, Galapago. So yeah, Galapago looks like he's just been chilling on the seafloor growing mushrooms all his life. And he is a nature hero of the Druid class. So the Druid class allows him to summon a Thorn minion, 15% chance after receiving any damage effect applied at the end of the turn. So pretty cool. He is of the same family, the Defenders of Atlantis, so we won't go over that again for Galapago. And he gets the same passive, so we won't go over that again either. But again, the family bonuses and the passives are fantastic, and they work really well in conjunction with each other. Now, if we switch off the max power preview, stats-wise, this is a huge difference between him and the hero that we just looked at. So we're looking at 766 attack, which is just below average. 920 on the defense though, and 1746 on the health. So that is pretty damn good. He is defensively built, so he's built to stick around a good long while. And that is really, really useful. His special skill is called no, it's not. It's Testudo Roll. Of course it is. Whatever that is. And on the first charge, he destroys all minions from all enemies and deals 230% damage to all enemies. So it's just as well as attack stat is lower, because that is a great special. At fast speed, destroying all minions from all enemies and giving them a massive whack for 230% damage in the face. Plus, all allies get 30% defense for 3 turns. So great, great charge at charge 1. If you get to the second charge, he's going to be destroying all minions from all enemies. He's going to be dealing 310 damage to all enemies, which is pretty good. I mean, it's in line with an average speed special, even though, like I said, this is not technically at average speed. And then everyone's going to get a stack with a maximum of 10 stacks. The caster recovers 24 HP each turn for each destroyed minion. Okay, so not everyone's getting the stack, it's just the caster. So you will get a bit of health recovery in there as well for destroyed minions. And then all allies are going to get 50% defense for 3 turns. So just enough time to go back to charge 1. This is a great hero. He's a minion control hero for sure. I was going to say that he puts Grimble to shame, but he doesn't, because he's not giving mana. But he is dealing a pretty decent amount of damage to all enemies, and he's increasing defense as well. So a very, very viable minion counter, minion destroyer. Not going to be great against heroes like Sorrow, but then we've only got really one Sorrow in the game, so thank God for that. But yeah, a really good hero as well, really good minion destroyer. And I do like him a lot because he's extremely survivable with those stats. He's got the defense up ether talent as well, which is one that a lot of people don't give a lot of value to. But I certainly do, because I think that having an increase in your defense by 20% for the 6 turns at the start of a battle is excellent. And this guy seems pretty tanky to me. So yeah, good hero. Now, the third hero is... Jeez, I'm struggling with these names. I wanted to say Phorcys? Phorcys? Yeah, let's go with Phorcys. Weird name. He looks amazing though. Honestly, he's like a sort of lobster man cross, mer lobster. So he is of the monk class, gets a chance to withstand, 30% chance to resist negative status effects, pretty good talent. He is of the same family again, the Defenders of Atlantis, and he's got the same passive. So again, we won't go over those. What we will do is have a look at his stats. Wow. Again, 922 attack is humongous. I mean, this power creep in these stats, unless it's got something to do with the balance update, that is huge. And 1582 on the health makes him extremely survivable as well. Great stats. So his special skill is going to be Rally of the Deep. Right. I saw a little taunt icon there, so I'm scared. So at first charge, he summons a merman minion. That rhymes nicely. For the caster and nearby allies with 27% HP, and 26% attack inherited from the caster, and the minion adds 5% mana to its owner at the end of each turn. That's great in and of itself. Now, and I did read this earlier, so I'm kind of not surprised, but the caster gets taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills on the caster's allies for 3 turns. So remember, this charge is running at fast speed. So at fast speed, he's going to be summoning a minion for himself and nearby allies. Yes, the minion's not very beefy, but what it does is great. It adds 5% mana to its owner at the end of each turn. So give it 2-3 turns, that's 15. Then on the 4th turn, 20% mana. And he's getting taunt. At fast speed, 3-turn taunt is absolutely amazing. So he's a great control hero as well. And he gets that taunt for 3 turns. He doesn't, most taunt heroes get like a defense up or a defense up against special skills. He doesn't, but what he does get is the meat shield from the minion and the increase to his mana. So that's kind of a trade-off. And at second charge, the merman minion is summoned for nearby allies with the same amount of HP and the same amount of attack. The minion adds the same amount of mana at the end of each turn, and the caster gets the taunt for the exact same amount of time. So I'm not upset about that. Like I said, these heroes are fast speed heroes. I would view them as fast speed heroes. I would really focus on charge 1 majority of the time, especially for most of your play against player versus player, which is what we all love if we're all honest. So yeah, charge 2 is just not going to happen all that often. But if you do get to it, you get an additional stack where all allies get plus 20% attack for their minions. Okay, that's going to happen, but it's only going to happen once every time you fire charge 2. So not that often. In and of itself, though, this guy's special is incredible. He's a fast speed hero, giving taunt for 3 turns, giving minions which are boosting his mana and his allies' mana. The only thing he's not doing is dealing any damage, which is weird, because why would they give him an attack stat of 922 if he's not dealing any damage? I mean, does that make sense? Not really. So yeah, his stats are just bonkers, and he benefits from this taunt, which still lasts for 4 turns, even though the balance updates come around. I know that they've sort of decided last minute they're not going to do anything with it, but they probably will have to in future, unless everybody just gets Phorcys, forces. In which case we won't have that problem, because we'll all be just throwing taunt up right at the beginning of every single battle. So that is him. So we've gone through 3 of the 5 stars, and I think it's actually going to be quicker for me to go through and just skip over these horrible, terrible heroes that we've all had more than enough of seeing to get back to the next one. So we are looking at, I'm just going to pause before I do this next one. So I'm going to do Ephyra and Thalassa in just a sec. I'll see you now. What's up, guys? It's McNulty. We're back, and we have this chubby wave river maiden to have a look at. So sorry about that. I just want to cut the video up a little bit, just because sometimes I have difficulty uploading these videos and I have to sacrifice the quality, and I don't want to sacrifice the quality. I want to keep it as good as possible. So that's what we've had to do, because I just talk too much. So Thalassa, she looks incredible. Don't get me wrong. I love this card. It's amazing. I mean, it is like, even, it's like a catfish or something that's on her head. I can't even tell what that is, but it looks incredible. So this, yeah, more of this, please. And thank you. She is of the cleric class. It's a good class. She gets the mana shield, 35% chance to resist negative mana effects and effects that prevent the use of special skills. Fantastic class. And she gets the same defenders bonus, so she's of the Defenders of Atlantis family, and 50% chance for 80% damage to all, and plus 21% critical chance. Oh no, don't do that to me now. I'm just saying how much I like the way she looks. Alright, there we go. For some people's cards, these heroes just disappear. For mine, it becomes like a black outline of the hero. Let me know if, you know, that happens to you and which one happens to you. So stats wise, she's again extremely good stats. More defensively built, but we're looking at 840 on the attack, 945 on the defense, and 1505 on the health. So just insane stats. Her special skill is called Ocean's Embrace. I kind of like the sound of that. Sounds soothing, but I'm sure it's not. Oh, maybe it is. So on charge 1, she boosts the health of all allies by 330, and boosted health can exceed max HP, and the duration of status elements is reset for all allies. I like that. I mean, that's really straightforward and simple. It's a nice, decent size health boost at fast speed, and resetting a duration of status elements can be really impactful if you know how to use it. So that is a great charge 1. I don't know if I should call it charge 1, because it's not like the charge mechanics. So it's a great tied 1. I'm not liking that. Anyway, it's great first special. And charge 2, we're going to increase the boost to 370. And then the duration of status elements is reset. And all allies are immune to new status elements for 3 turns. Not too big of a fan of that, unfortunately. While I am a huge fan of this card, like I said, I love the way it looks. And charge 1 would be really effective. I don't see why they had to go and do that, because you really want that ailment immunity. But then we do have heroes like Hathor, who boost health for a higher amount, give the ailment immunity straight away. But ailment immunity, in my mind, is far more valuable than resetting status ailments. So I think we should have just had boosted health and ailment immunity. But then people might have got upset saying that you've just copied another card and you've not been original. But remember, they have had the ailment resetting around for a while now as well. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I really want to like this one more. But yeah, she's not my most favorite of these heroes so far. Still an incredible hero though, great support hero, and I could definitely find a place for her. I'd put her on all my teams. She's just so cool looking, man. Right, now moving on. So we're into the non-featured 5 stars now, by the way. So we've got these 3 that are featured and 2 that are not. So looking at this second one, again, she looks amazing. I mean, tell me that doesn't look amazing. She is riding a mushroom with tentacles. I mean, what more do you want? Again, of the cleric class. And she is of the Defenders of Atlantis family again. And then we've got the passive, which is going to be the same passive as well. In terms of stats, I mean, I'm falling in love with these heroes here, man. Look at those. 906 attack, 865 defense, and 1514 on the health. And she's disappeared. And those stats are bonkers. The ether talent, we're looking at dodge. Fantastic talent. No problems with that one. And those stats are just going ballistic. 1200 nearly on the attack. Nearly 1500 on the defense, and like 2100 on the health. So she's going to definitely be sticking around. So the first charge is summoning a jellyfish minion for each ally. Pretty cool. With 32% HP. I bet that jellyfish is not going to look as cool as the one on her card. So the jellyfish has 32% HP and 24% attack inherited from the caster. Yeah. Okay. What else? There's a stack of 10 where all allies get plus 5% inherited HP for new minions they summon. Maybe I'm missing something here. Is this supposed to be a good card, or is this like a joke card like Salmon Loki? Because I seriously hope not, because that to me does not sound like anything special. And I know minions are capped at a certain health amount. So you've got inherited HP for new minions. So if she summoned a minion and then you had somebody like Set on the team who summoned a minion as well, his minion would get like 45% HP instead of 40% HP. So yeah, it would be a massive minion, but it's capped at a certain amount. I think it's 1000 HP is the maximum cap for minions. So man, I'm really disappointed by this. This is terrible. Charge 2. Replaces all fiends on all allies with jellyfish minions. And summons a jellyfish minion for each ally. And then they get the same stack as well. I mean, you've got... why can't I get to his name now? Arco. Who will do that at a much faster speed. This card is really terrible. I mean, the card is amazing. She looks amazing. I was falling in love, but now I'm quickly falling out. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of this hero. If I got this hero, I would test her extensively before I even decided if she was worth doing anything with. But as is, from reading this, I think this is the one you don't want, guys. So yeah, commiserations if you do pull Ephyra. Unfortunately, I just don't think she's a very good hero at all. So we are going to move on to the 5 stars, and the 4 stars, and we'll try and do these a bit quicker. So we've got the 2 4 stars. We've got Mulgog. He's the one that I pulled. I would pull the guy, the short shit with the axe, and just looks like an absolute loser, out of place. He's like one of those stone poison fish things that live at the darkest depths of the ocean, with a Dragon Ball Z mohawk vibe going on. I actually love the art on this guy. I'm not gonna lie, he does look pretty cool. So he's been one of the enemies as well. Anyways, moving on. Family bonus. Now these guys are from the Nightmares family. So the Nightmares family does differ. They get the bonus for 1 or 2 heroes. It's a 50 or 75% chance to cast minus 10% mana generation for 3 turns on the enemy. And obviously if the enemy dies, it's 75 or 100%. And then he gets the family bonus from the Atlantis family, which is the increased defense. So the mana generation, it's probably not as good as the other family. So just to remind ourselves, the other family get the plus 36% attack. I'd probably rather have the attack up than the reduction in mana. I don't know. It's much of a muchness. And then the passive is different for these guys as well. So it's 80% damage to all enemies, and the caster gets plus 19% mana generation for 2 turns. That is an effect on the special skill, which actually is extremely useful for this family, because what it means is that they're going to be able to get that second charge done and out of the way, and get it done sooner. So yeah, I do like that. Now stats wise, we are looking at 718 on the attack. Good, really good for a 4-star. 643 on the defense, again pretty solid, and 1228 on the health. So it's the stats, like I've been saying up to this point, are pretty good. On his first charge, his special is called Noxious Cleave, and he deals 230% damage to the target and nearby, and he reduces the mana of the target and nearby enemies by 10%. So the nice thing about reducing mana is that you can target heroes that are fully charged, and they're no longer fully charged. The downside of that is that 10% is not enough to do anything serious. Even at charge 2, his damage is increased to 260, but the reduction of the mana is now 15%. And you might say, yeah, that's really good, but it's not really that good, to be fair, because I have got another hero let's just go to my inventory so I can go to the costumes real quick. So this little lady, she does 280% damage to the target and nearby, and she reduces the mana of the target and nearby by 15%, and her attack stat is at 749, so she's hitting harder, plus the target and nearby get minus 75% decrease for any healing received. Yes, she doesn't benefit from the same passives, but what I'm trying to say is that this hero is a bit of a sheep in sheep's clothing, a bit of a sheep in fish's clothing, because to be fair, he's not that much better than her. I will max him out because of the second part of his special, and because I want to test it out. Because if you look at this, if you are to add limit breaks and emblems on charge 2, while he's dealing the damage and reducing the mana, the secondary effect is that all enemies receive 800 poison damage over 5 turns, which can be extremely useful for things like 4-star tournaments I'm thinking of for this guy, because there is quite a high chance you'll be able to get him to fire that second charge off, and if he does, that poison damage is going to do some serious damage. I was thinking of pairing him up with another bard hero that can increase the duration of status ailments and reset them, and then this becomes a whole different monster at that charge, because 800 poison damage is a lot. And he also absorbs 50% of the dealt poison damage as health, so that is original. But otherwise he is a pretty run-of-the-mill hero, to be fair. He's nothing to write home about, but he can form a good part of an attack team at the 4-star level, and his stats are pretty decent as well. Now, with the other 4-star, we have Shar'Khai, and Shar'Khai is amazing. He is of the Paladin class. I promise I'm not paid by SG, by the way, guys. So his passive is the same. We won't go over that again. He gets the defense up E for talent. And stats wise, he is much more defensively built, but really defensively built. I do like the stats for this guy. Maybe slightly lower than we've seen in terms of the health, but pretty good. Let's just try and ignore that blackout. Can I do it? Nah, sorry guys, I really can't do it. Some people can, I just can't. SG really need to fix that. So his special is called Critical Tactics. Very cool. And on the first charge, all allies get plus 80% normal attack for 5 turns, and the normal attack is increased by 20% each turn, and this effect can be active in addition to effects that alter attack in general. Normal attacks can have a total maximum of plus 160% increased power. Brilliant Titan hero. Plus he gives 20% critical chance for 5 turns. Like, seriously, chuck him on any Holy Titan attack team and your scores are going to increase no end. I would put him with Sergei if you're looking at a 4-star option, just because he's easier to get hold of. Otherwise, if you've got Guardian Panther, go ahead. I don't. Yeah, make fun of me now. But I don't have her. So I would put him with Sergei on a Titan attack team. I'm really excited to be able to try and get this guy. I probably won't be able to get him this time around, but maybe next time, because I've just got Mulgog the Muppet for now. So charge 2, anyway, 80% normal attack, 5 turns, 20% each turn, up to 160, 35% critical chance for 5 turns, versus the 20% critical chance. Obviously, it's much better, but like, he's still going to be an amazing hero against Titans. You're going to want him on your team. You could find a use for him in other areas of the game, because he's doing that attack increase at fast speed. So I think that he's going to be one that a lot of people are going to underestimate. You might not really realize how to use him initially, but you could do some serious damage with this guy just boosting the tiles. It is the normal attack rather than the special skill attack, so he's not going to increase special skills by that much. But I would put him on a purple attack team, and you're going to be doing some bonkers numbers with those tiles, even into enemies of the weaker element. So great hero. And the defense up, which I've already mentioned, is one of my more favored ether talents. So great. Now, lastly, but not leastly, we have this guy who looks scared as anything. He does not look like he's ready to do battle. He looks like he's just scared out of his wits. Like, he's just seen the mythic Titan and he's gone, holy shit, like, what am I gonna do now? Anyway, it's funny as fuck. His name is Bagreg, which is a terrible name. He is of the Nightmares of Atlantis family. We're not going to go over that. He gets the same passive with the damage and the mana generation for 2 turns. Stats are great. I mean, his attack stat is really high, 571. His defense is low for a 4-star, and his HP is low for a 4-star as well. But it's not that low. I mean, he's still going to be able to stick around, especially at his level in the 3 stars. Now, his special skill at first charge, he's going to be dealing 180% damage to the target and nearby. But it's not all about the damage with this guy, because the target and nearby enemies get minus 34% defense against fire for 3 turns. So again, if you don't have an elemental defense down hero, if you don't have Guardian Jackal, if you don't have Ray from the new Magic heroes, if you don't have Costume Marjana, if you don't have any of those 3 heroes, this is a viable option for going up against Green Titans. You can give the minus defense down against fire. Finally, an option that's easily obtainable. I do love that about this guy. And he's also going to create new options for the, I want to call them tournaments, but they're not, the challenge event format, where most of the teams are blue. You're now going to have the option to go ahead and get a red team as well. So 200% damage to the target and nearby enemies at charge 2, and the target and nearby enemies now get minus 54% against fire for 3 turns. So that's a massive increase in the defense down. But these charge heroes, or this changing tides mechanic, is going to be a little bit difficult to control. If you want to use him against Titans, you're going to have to charge him up twice. So drop 2 tornadoes on him or 2 big mana potions. And to be fair, I think that might be a bit of a waste, guys. So he's a great, great hero, though. I mean, you could pair him up with somebody like Buster, and then you could put him with, who does the shared damage? Old Squeak of Protection. Can't remember his name. I don't know if it's just for his allies or if it's for the enemies as well. But I'm thinking of sort of putting together a little bit of a red 3-star team, and this guy could definitely be used on that. So I'm loving these new heroes. In summary, great 3-star, pretty poor 4-star, fantastic 4-star. I say pretty poor. He's pretty good, but I mean, like, Costume Fury is probably better. Freya, whatever her name is. Terrible 5-star, funnily enough, even though her art is incredible. Also not so great. So to be fair, I think the featured ones that we've got are probably the best of the 5, which is not something that I can normally say. But definitely some intriguing heroes with some interesting new mechanics, and I am stoked on this selection. If this is a sign of things to come, then give me more. So yeah, thank you guys all for watching. I wish you guys all the best. Please drop us a like, subscribe, send me your comments, let me know what you think of these new Untold Tales heroes, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the next video. Bye for now, guys.